Okay, what's up guys? And today I will be showing you some more raycasting because I got a inbox message in YouTube saying this guy wanted to create a raycasting, like whenever you click it shoots a bullet. So yeah, I'm just going to be showing you how we're going to do that. So we're just going to create a script called shooting, and in fact, I'm just going to delete this main camera. We're not even going to go in the script right now. We just created it, you know. So, and I am going to go to asset server. I mean asset, sorry. I'm just used to saying asset server a lot. So asset, then import package, and then go to character controller. And let's import the character controller. So we're going to be using the character controller's first person view to be doing this with. So anyways, let's create a game object other and a cube. Let's make a cube shaped floor. So, or maybe not a cube, but a cuboid. You know. So just make it a little bigger since we are uh, since we care about look so much. We'll just assign it some random material. So right click create and create a new material. You don't actually have to follow along and create a new project and do all this. You can just like work on your own project. I'm just creating a platform for the player to walk on. So let's just call it red and make it red. Okay, and maybe some light as well so we can see much clearer. Okay, now we've got all this set up. Let's drag in the player, move the player up, and right now you should be at this stage. Okay, so you're at this stage and you want to make ray casting, and you have no idea what to do. Well, fear not, I'm here. And the easiest way I would say for you to do is use your mouse as input, uh, because wait, in fact I shall explain that when we open the script. So let's open the script, and inside the script what I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all delete all of this, and then I'm going to create a new function, call it update, obviously because it repeats every frame and we want that for raycasting. I know there was already an update there. I don't like that update because it's got the comment, and well, comments don't really bother me, but it didn't have a private, so I just deleted it because I was going to delete the start as well. So remember, just delete the thing you don't need, you know, make your life easier, make all of your code look nice. And now what you want to do is if, or this is just to show you, so maybe instead of actually like working on your project and watching this video at the same time, just want to stop your project and just like pay attention for a minute, you know. So if input dot get button down, and I'm going to do fire1, and the way this get button down is calculated is it whenever it says get button down, it goes to the edit and goes to project settings and go to input and access, and you'll see a button called fire1. So there, so I'm calling that, and if you can see fire1 can be activated using the left control or the mouse 0. So you can choose both. So you can remove that if you don't like it, you can remove this if you don't like it, you can add in something like put in F, so whenever we press F that will be activated. So you know, this is like a really easy way to manage all of your inputs and outputs, and it makes it really easy to change anything if you want to if you want anything to change in the main menu. So I like to use these. um, so anyways, there is alternatives also. So if for example you don't want that, you can do dot get button, sorry, get key, sorry, get key down. And by the way, if you don't know what key down, what's the difference between key down and key up and just key? Okay, so remember, this repeats every frame. Like I've told you many times, that update always repeats every frame. So about 50 frames per second. If your game is running at 50 frames per second, it's repeating 50 times in a second, quite fast. So make sure you don't put a lot of heavy programming in it to slow your game down. Anyways, when you put key down, it only happens if you press the key. It doesn't happen if you keep holding the key down. It doesn't happen if you lift your finger off the key. Okay, now then the key up only happens. Wait, let's just type in key code dot r or something, because that error is really annoying me. Anyways, key up, which I have actually never used, to be honest, uh, happens when we lift our finger off the key. So if we're holding down F or space, then it's not gonna happen. If we're, like if we press it, it's not gonna happen. It's only gonna happen when we lift our finger, or I don't know what you use to press it, but whatever you use to press it, just lift that off the key, then it's going to happen. But the get key happens when you're holding down the key. So if you're holding down the key, it's going to keep happening. For example, this repeats 50 frames per second if you're running at 50 frames per second the game. So if you're holding down that key, it's going to repeat 50 times in a second. So you might want to see what you want. So remember, down and up only repeats once, since you only press it once. You can't like press the same key again at the same, like, you can't press the key while it's already held down. So it doesn't really make sense unless you got two keyboards, and then it goes a little too crazy. Anyways, enough of that rubbish. Uh, what was I gonna do? Oh, okay, yeah, I actually forgot what I was gonna do, but I remembered again. So that is what it is. Anyways, now what I wanted to do was to show you this. So if we do screen dot lock cursor equals to true, and remember that it's true. So it's going to go to the screen class, then go to the lock cursor variable, which is a boolean, because we can tell it says boolean. If we hover our mouse over it, it says bool, and then we make it true. So now if we play, remember that will only happen if you press the R key. So our mouse, we can move our mouse like at the top right, press R. So press R. Oh, okay, forgot to add the script. That always happens with me. Seriously, I hate that so much. Anyways, at the top right, press R and your mouse disappears, and you're like, whoa, where did it go? Okay, now I'm not even gonna move my mouse. Remember, it was at the top right. So if I press escape, this is only a Unity editor feature. When you build your game, this will not happen. You cannot press escape to see your mouse again. Okay, if your mouse is gone, it's gone, unless you've got a way of getting back to it, like a pause menu, so it gets back there. Anyways, the point here is that my mouse was at the top right. When I locked it, it went to the middle and it hid itself, which is what we need. So we can cast a ray to from the player's position to the mouse, where the mouse is touching in the 3D space, if you get what I mean. So creating an array from our position to where the mouse is touching. That's what we're going to do. So let's try pressing R just to show you. So I'm going to go to the top and press R, and now I'm going to press escape. Remember, this is the only Unity editor feature, and as you can see, the cursor is in the middle. No matter where we go, no matter what we do, it will go in the middle. If it doesn't go in the middle, then there is probably a bug with your script, or I have no idea what happened. So since we got that out of the way, let's start scripting. Remember, raycast, if you're creating a really big heavy game, raycast kind of takes some power to cast array. So remember, just you don't need to like always cast array. you can just cast it as soon as the player shoots. That's it. That's the end of it. But we're going to cast it always, and then we're going to cast it just once when the player shoots. Because why are we going to cast it? To show you that the show you we can actually look at the ray when if we just like debug the line. So if, and let's in fact create a raycast hit before we do this. Raycast hit, call it hit, and let's create a ray, and ray equals to what was it? Sorry, I actually forgot this. I'm actually forgetting things now. So remember, this is really useful scripting reference. It helps me a lot, helps everyone a lot. It's just references that sometimes you actually forget. You need to know. You don't. Well, you don't need to know these, but these are very important when you're programming. So what we're doing, raycast. Well, we're doing physics raycast. Let's just go to physics raycast and scroll down at the bottom, and there we go. Camera dot main dot screen point to array. That's the thing I forgot. Anyways, I'm just gonna copy this because I'm too lazy to type it in. You know, if you've seen my other videos, then I do copy and paste sometimes. Anyways, so now we can type physics dot raycast all. Remember, it gives out a array, and array is a list of variables. So raycast is a variable, raycast hit, sorry, is a variable, and hit. So hit is a variable, raycast hit isn't a variable. Sorry, I'm just like, trying to confuse you or something. Anyways, hit is a variable, and we need an array. Our array is a list of variables, so we need a list of hits for raycast all, because there are going to be a lot of objects hitting it, because it's going to be going through every single object, you know, so you can manage everything. If you want like a bullet, like if the bullet goes through one person and then goes to another and then goes through another, that kind of stuff. So physics dot raycast, we're just going to use normal raycast for now, you know, we and type in array, and that should be good enough. And now press comma, and then what we need to do is uh, we need to create we need to type hit. Remember, in JavaScript you just need to type hit, but in C# you need to type out. So, and then comma, and just ignore what that line says. We need to type now how far the bullet can travel. So I'm just going to create the public or how far the raycast can go. So distance, public float distance, and this other guy that I got the um, uh, inbox message from said that or in his code he wrote F after this, and I'm just saying you don't need to write F after a float unless it contains a decimal point. Then you need to write F. As you can see, gives me an error, but you don't need to write F if it doesn't have a decimal point. It doesn't matter if it's a float or not. So now we need to type in how long or how far that it can go. So distance, type that in, and oops, forgot bracket. There we go, and that is it. I'm just gonna, there you go, make it look nice. So now what we can do is, if it is game, if hit dot collider dot game object dot tag equals to player, then if it's touching player, then reduce health or something like that. You're probably gonna write a code saying reduce health or something like that, I don't know. But before we actually get on further, there is one more thing we should do. So instead of writing this, what we should write in the if statement at the very beginning after raycast, when we're like when we're doing this, in this case, because if you look at here, so if you look at the camera, wait, camera, yeah, at some points the camera is going to be touching this green line, and this green line is the collider. This is the thing where the raycast is going to hit. This is the thing where you which stops you from going into a wall. So this is the thing where it's going to collide. So if you can see, the camera is actually touching the um, or maybe the camera is inside the collider. So at some point, if we look down or do something, it's going to um, it's going to the raycast is going to hit itself, like our player. So not itself, but our player. So let's just move it forward, but we still have our uh, um, whatever you call it. We still have a risk, yeah, risk of getting hit. So to fix this, what we need to do is we need to tell it that hit.collider.gameObject. So just do this. So get the game object we're colliding with, and if it doesn't equal to the game object, oh wait, yeah, if it doesn't equal to the game object, then we're good to go. So quick recap. The ray is being cut, and we created a ray which goes from the main camera we created, and the main camera is decided by the tag. So if we go on main camera, there's a main camera tag. It's decided by that. So it's starting from the main camera and going to the mouse position wherever your mouse is on the screen. So it's in 3D space, it's going to that. So for example, if you've got your mouse in this view, if you got your mouse over this player, then it's going to that player at that point where the mouse is actually touching it. So and then we created a variable called hit, and which we used in the next line, which is we created we uh, we used physics.raycast, physics class, and raycast function uh, to cast a array, and the array we cast is from the camera one, the one I just talked about. And we said if it's touching anything, then we want it we want to know what it's touching. So hit, we use the hit variable inside it, and remember we need to type out in C#, and the distance, we type the distance. So that's pretty much it. And if remember, if it touches our game object, the player we want, our player, then nothing should happen. So that's why this code just means that if it's not touching our object, then run that. Then if it is touching our object, it's gonna run then it's just not gonna run anything inside that, because we don't want to lose health or anything. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to debug this array to see it. So for example, if I go here right now, play this, and we can just look around, we can't see the array. So the ray or the raycast, whatever. Yeah, so to see this array, or for example, sorry, my apologies, you cannot see, you shouldn't be able to see the array anyways right now. At least I think so. I'm not too sure if you can see it when you're not actually looking at an object, but when you look at an object, you should be able to see it. But to be able to do this, to be able to see this array, we need to create a debug, uh, and we need to call it the draw ray. There you go, draw ray. And we need to draw this ray. And as you can see, we can scroll down to see what we can choose. So we need to create a starting position and ending position, or the direction. Sorry, it's direction. Getting confused by everything today. So our uh, starting position is going to be the camera dot main dot transform dot position. So main camera's position, and we're going to be going forward, because remember the mouse is going to be in the middle. So the middle of the main camera is where the mouse is going to be. So if we choose camera dot main dot transform dot forward, which is forward in this, remember this is where the mouse is going to be. So it doesn't matter if you choose main camera dot camera dot main dot transform dot forward, so, or we use input dot mouse position. Remember that, it's very important. So camera dot transform dot main, sorry, transform dot forward, and we need to give it a color, so just give it a nice color dot, we'll give it green, since we will be able to see it nicely. Anyways, remember, we will be able to see the ray now, even if we look at the sky, because it's just gonna keep on, it's gonna go one forward in the what you call it, the camera. So now remember, it's only going one forward, so it's gonna about go here somewhere, I don't know, somewhere here, something like that. So we need to make times it to something, like times it with maybe the distance, distance, so it goes as far as we want it to go. So now remember, this line is just like temporary, we will probably delete it later on. So let's minimize this and let's see what is happening to our array. Oh, sorry, I forgot the screen dot lock cursor, so it locks the cursor, screen dot lock cursor equals to true. As you can see, my mouse disappeared and we can't even see that properly, so let me just show you using this. So as you can see, I am looking and there is a ray in the middle of the camera where the mouse position is, because if I press escape, it's in the middle, remember. And because I'm clicking and it's repeating every frame, it's whenever it knows that um we've got the game open, it's gonna um, stop the cursors, so it's gonna lock the cursor, sorry. So it's in the middle now, we've got what we wanted. Now for example, like in the video that or in the, sorry, what do you call it, the code that the guy sent it to me, he wanted to move rigid bodies by shooting it. So let's just do that. So here we're going to press enter and we're going to type if input dot get button down and fire 1, and we're going to do this. So it's only going to cast that ray if we're pressing if we press the left mouse button, and we're going to debug this ray when we press the fire button as well, so it only shows the ray when we press the fire button, or maybe, I don't know. Yeah, let's just do that in fact. Anyways, now if it's not touching the game object, and if the hit the collider, the game object, the get component, I shall explain this in a minute. So we're checking if the game object we hit using the raycast has it got a component, get component, has it got a component called a rigid body. If it does, it's going to execute or run whatever's inside there. If it doesn't, it's just going to go, just skip this. So if it does, then we can, let's just create another float call. We can use commas, by the way, many people don't know this, they actually create another one, but we can actually do this. So comma, and then we can type in force glide equals to 500 or something, I don't know. Anyways, now we want to apply that force to that object now, since we know it's got a rigid body, because if it doesn't have a rigid body, then it's going to give us an error, because you need a rigid body to push it. So hit, we're going to get the hit dot collider dot game object dot rigid body. Wait, do we need to go to get component? I'm not too sure. Let's just try rigid body first. Rigid body dot add force. Oh no, you don't need to. So we're going to the game object and we're accessing the rigid body component because we're going to need it because that's the thing that applies the force. So apply force, and we want to apply force on uh, on the where the main camera is looking. So it moves in the right direction when you shoot it. It doesn't move off towards you when you shoot it, something like that. So we need to write in camera, oops, sorry, capital K C, I mean camera dot main dot transform dot forward, and then we need to times it with the force applied. Oops, force, where is the, if we can spell it, force applied, and that should be it. Now if we minimize this, and we can create a cube which has got a rigid body, so let's just make it a little bigger, and let's create a cube. Game object other cube, and we've got a cube, and let's attach rigid body to it. So component physics rigid body. Now we can choose its mass, we can choose its if it has gravity or not, but let's just leave it the way it is. And let's just maximize this game. If I can drag the scene up, there we go, and maximize on play, and we got this key. So if we hit it, if we press the left button and it's in the middle, exact middle, then it should fly off. And I'm not, oh, there we go. So it's kind of hard to tell where the middle is with this, but there you go. As you can see, it is working. If I can get it, there we go, got it. I have no idea why the mouse was there. There we go. Now the mouse is perfect. Maybe that's why it wasn't working. So as you can see, we're shooting it and it's going and it's moving. So as soon as I click, it like flies off. So we can do this. Let's push it off. Yay. Now with a box champion or whatever game you're making. So I don't know what that was. You might want to make it so now you might want to make it so screen dot lock cursor equals to false, so you can actually turn it false, when you pause the game. So it's not always true, because remember, every frame it's making it true. So you might want to have to remove this and only put it in the start. So private void start, only put it there, something like that, whatever pleases you. I'm going to be posting this code, and it should be in the description below. So thank you for checking out my video. I hope you liked it, and if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. And it is pretty long video, so thanks for watching again.